So we had a big day, very big. We met right here at the White House to launch a new phase in the relationship between the United States and the European Union, a phase of close friendship, of strong trade relations in which both of us will win, of working better together for global security and prosperity, and of fighting jointly against terrorism. The United States and the European Union together count for more than 830 million citizens and more than 50% of the global GDP. In other words, together we're more than 50% of trade. If we team up, we can make our planet a better, more secure, and more prosperous place. Already today, the United States and the European Union have a $1 trillion bilateral trade relationship, the largest economic relationship anywhere in the world. We want to further strengthen this trade relationship to the benefit of all American and European citizens. This is why we agreed today, first of all, to work together towards zero tariffs, zero non-tariff barriers, and zero subsidies on non-auto industrial goods. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We will also work to reduce barriers and increase trade in services, chemicals, pharmaceuticals, medical products, as well as soybeans. Soybeans is a big deal. And the European Union is going to start almost immediately to buy a lot of soybeans. They're a tremendous market. Buy a lot of soybeans from our farmers in the Midwest, primarily. So I thank you for that, Jean-Claude. This will open markets for farmers and workers, increase investment, and lead to greater prosperity in both the United States and the European Union. It will also make trade fairer and more reciprocal, my favorite word, reciprocal. Secondly, we agreed to a strengthening of our strategic cooperation with respect to energy. The European Union wants to import more liquefied natural gas, LNG, from the United States, and they're going to be a very, very big buyer. We're going to make it much easier for them, but they're going to be a massive buyer of LNG, so they'll be able to diversify their energy supply, which they want very much to do, and we have plenty of it. Thirdly, we agreed today to launch a close dialogue on standards in order to ease trade, reduce bureaucratic obstacles, and slash costs dramatically. Fourthly, we agreed to join forces to protect American and European companies from better and really better than ever. We've never done like we're doing. I can say from the standpoint of the United States, we've never done this well, but we're going to do a lot better after we do this deal and other deals that we're currently working on. Likewise, the European Union is going to do better, stronger, bigger. We will therefore work closely together with like-minded partners to reform the WTO and to address unfair trading practices, including intellectual property theft, forced technology transfer, industrial subsidies, distortions created by state-owned enterprises, and overcapacity. We decided to set up immediately an executive working group of very intelligent people on both sides. They'll be our closest advisors, and they're going to carry out this joint agenda. In addition, it will identify short-term measures to facilitate commercial exchanges and assess existing tariff measures and what we can do about that to the betterment of both. While we are working on this, we will not go against the spirit of this agreement unless either party terminates the negotiation. So we're starting the negotiation right now, but we know very much where it's going. We also will resolve the steel and aluminum tariff issues, and we will resolve retaliatory tariffs. We have some tariffs that are retaliatory and that will get resolved as part of what we're doing.
My problem has been with the whole of this chaotic scandal which has engulfed Westminster. But most of this has been a lot of nonsense. I do not consider a mildly flirtatious remark sexual harassment. Sense of proportionality has just deserted the whole thing. People putting in complaints 15 years later that they may have been lightly touched. It is ridiculous. I mean, normally that would just make me laugh. We're already, as a society, at a stage where people are dubious about putting their arm round a distressed child because they feel it might be misinterpreted. Are we really going to get to the stage where no man can make a flirtatious comment, can make a light touch, can give a pat of encouragement, can give a touch of comfort, whatever it might be, where human beings feel they have to stand off from each other? If so, that's not some new age of enlightenment, that's a dark age.
Let me ask you this. What physical, personal compliment could I pay you that wouldn't offend you?
Do you know what? You and me both know the difference between flirting and harassment. And that's the thing. Most men...
But answer my question for a moment.
Because what...
In other words, if I were to say to you now,
yeah,
your hair looks lovely, or I like what you're wearing, would you consider that in this new environment to be offensive?
I wouldn't. But it doesn't matter about that, because it's not about me as an individual.
It doesn't matter. I think it does matter.
No, let me talk. Let me explain.
A lot of people are confused now.
Yeah. So let me explain.
Let me just say this. Let me phrase the question correctly. They're not confused about rape or sexual assault or even aggressive...
Oh, they are.
Well, OK, let's just assume...
And that's part of the problem.
Let's assume most people, in my experience, know what rape is and they know what sexual assault is. And
but they don't, and that's a huge assumption that you're making, and that is part of this same problem. Like, the only point where people take rape seriously is when we have conversations like this, and suddenly it's taken really seriously. The conviction rate for rape is 6%, because when we do talk about rape, we still talk about it as something that women have to prevent from happening to themselves. And this is the thing about sexual harassment, that it's not just a touch or a flirt or a text message, it's all of it. We make it acceptable to do the stuff at the other end of the scale, and all of these things affect women's confidence, and they all affect women's freedom.
I get it, but I would also say from my personal experience talking to women in the last 2 weeks, a lot of women don't share the view that a hand on a knee, albeit completely inappropriate perhaps, after a couple of drinks at lunchtime, or a clumsy pass by a married politician, they don't see that as anywhere near the same level of offence as sexual assault, rape and so on. And so I'm mainly asking, really, you know, I think a lot of people think this is a good debate to be having. Yeah. But where is the line to be drawn? But
that's the thing. It's not about... Like, why do we have to draw lines? We know that...
Because otherwise people don't know where the line is.
But it's not true. Like, men don't harass people who can fire them. And that's because very few women are in positions of authority over men. This is actually about power. And if some women don't want to report, that's fine. Nobody's insisting that they should. Nobody's telling Anne she has to.
Well, let me ask Anne Widdecombe. Anne, in all your time in Parliament, were you ever sexually harassed?
Absolutely not. And I think for the very obvious reason that, you know, nobody would have expected to make very much progress if they'd tried. But honestly, this is not what Westminster is like. I do not recognise the description of a toxic atmosphere at Westminster as the one that for 23 years I observed close up. And I'm really tired of being told, you know, that women are being suppressed when it takes them years to report something, when they could report it on the spot time.
Some of these women did report it and it was dismissed,
Sophie, you had a long innings just now. Now, just hang on. What we're actually getting at the moment is reports coming in via third parties where the women don't even want to complain.
Do you wonder why, Anne, when your reaction is like this?
They should have done. It is pathetic. It is pathetic.
No, it's very courageous when people like you will give them that treatment. Actually standing up to your harassers and standing up to people like you who belittle people's experiences, actually it's the bravest thing.
Of course, this doesn't just apply to women. You know, we're talking as if women are the only victims. Men also may have grievances which they want to make known.
According to ONS.
But, oh, Sophie, do let somebody finish, for goodness sake.
I'm just giving you the facts.
Which they want to make known. But what I believe is that there should be proportionality. That is the word that I've been using ever since this nonsense started. There is proportionality. What is serious should always be taken seriously. What is trivial isn't worth wasting the time on. And most of this stuff, where even the women themselves don't want to complain, is trivial.
Congratulations. Work so hard, forgot how to vacation.